Hello, everyone. Just wanting to send a special Happy Mother's Day out to all the mums and grandmas and mums in law, all these special people that have played such an important role into our lives. I wish you all a wonderful Mother's Day. I want to tell you just briefly about something my mom did one Mother's Day. My mom's life was very consistent. It was very normal. It was not spectacular in her way of. She was just a farmer's wife and a mom, but she was a godly Christian woman, and I loved her so much. My mom's love for me is one of the rich gifts that God has given me, but I didn't always know that or know how to express that. My mom's love for me was, as most children, taken for granted for many years. That's just what a mom did. I didn't know it was special or unique, and I didn't see all that went behind her days of giving. Later on, when I got into my teens, I didn't understand her way of loving. My mom's way of telling me that she loved me was having a warm meal on the table, nutritious and tasty. It was having a home that was tidy and clean I could bring my friends to. My friends were always welcome, even though we lived on a farm and we couldn't do that a lot. But those things, those little things, clean clothes, a big garden so there was always food to eat, those were my mom's way of saying, I love you. But in my teens, I didn't understand that. And because I didn't hear the words, and I'm a words kind of person, for a long time I thought my mom didn't really love me. She just did what she had to do and put up with us all. But I was so wrong. Later on in life, I began to understand. But I want to encourage you moms today, whether you're understood or not. It's the little, the daily, the consistent things that you do, those selfless things that you do for your family or your friends or your spouse. Those are the things that count in the long run. Many years ago, on a Mother's Day, it had been a busy day for our family. There had been church in the morning, of course, and family get-together and a big dinner and all of that with the grandparents in the afternoon. And come evening, my mom was tired. And even though they normally went to evening service at church in those days, she was just tired, not feeling very well, so she stayed home and she kept us girls with her. And that night, not knowing what was happening, she did one of the most important things in my life that has ever happened to me. It was just everyday things. She had to get the house cleaned up and the dishes done. No dishwasher in those days. It was all done by hand. So us girls played as she cleaned up and got everything ready. And then, as was the normal practice, she got out the children's Bible story book and she called us to her and she read to us. The reading that day was from the Gospel of John. And it was a story of where Jesus was preparing his disciples for going away. And they didn't understand any more than as children we did. But he knew he was going to die for their sins and be buried and resurrected and was going to ascend to the Father. And when he was there, he was going to prepare a place. And that's what the story was about. It was about the wonderful place Jesus is preparing for each of us that love him and obey him. So after she read the story, then she explained that she and Daddy had already made their reservations, and they were booked to go and live with Jesus someday in the future. And that heaven was a beautiful place, a wonderful place. And she was looking forward to going. And of course, as children, we, can we go too? Can we go too? And so she spent a few minutes telling us, yes, we could go. We were wanted there. There was a place prepared for us, but there was something we had to do first. And she talked about having to have our hearts washed clean. When we did things that were wrong, that made our hearts dirty, and we couldn't go and live in heaven with dirty hearts. And so she explained that only Jesus could wash our hearts and make them fresh and clean again. So after she'd explained, and it wasn't theological or heavy, we were small children, I asked her if Jesus would wash my heart and make me ready so that I could go and have a place in heaven with him. And I didn't know it until many years later. She struggled with that decision. I was so young, and she didn't know if I understood enough. But she did what a good mama does. She says, I'm going to trust God. I'll take her as far as she knows to go today, and I'll trust God to take her the rest of the way. And so she didn't need to explain to me that when I was disobedient, or when I lied about my disobedience, those were the things that made my heart dirty. And so she helped me say a simple prayer of saying, I'm sorry, Lord Jesus. Will you forgive me for the wrongs I have done? Will you wash my heart and make it brand new, fresh and clean? And then prepare a place for me where I can come and live with you someday. And so she prayed, helped me pray, and then it was time for jammies and goodnight kisses, and it was just all a part of an ordinary day. But that day was not ordinary. That was a beginning. That was the beginning of my life with Jesus, of my walk with him. And Mom and Daddy have gone on ahead, and they're enjoying that beautiful place prepared for them. And today, on Mother's Day, I remember that gift of a few moments. She could have said, oh, I'm too tired to read to them tonight. I'll just tuck them in bed and say their prayers with them. But she didn't. She took the time. And so for all of you mamas and grandmas out there, when your children are available and willing, take the time. Open your hearts to them. Let them know the things that are important to you. Pray for them and with them when that's available. And beyond that, just love them and leave them in God's hands. Live a life that is exemplary to them, that they can understand that living for Jesus is what makes life worth living. So thank you, Mama. Thank you for Jesus, for a wonderful mom. She wasn't perfect, nor was I, but we all tried. And together, as we do our best and live the everyday moments for the Lord, this world and the people in our lives are better for it. So mamas out there, happy Mama's Day to all of you. Love Jesus and celebrate your worth in him. Bye-bye. Have a great day.